All right, welcome into the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast. Recording this on a Monday, on a very chilly Monday, as in Dickinson we are in a winter storm warning, so winter is upon us. Yellowstone is kicking off this week. It's episode 49. It is Grant's favorite player episode. It is the Dan Sorensen episode.
We should just end this episode now. It's gonna suck.
No, wow, and as I mentioned that it is the Dan Sorensen episode, he just gave up a touchdown over the top to Will Likely. So
why am I not surprised? How fitting is this?
He didn't actually, but
it felt fitting that I had to say that. Now that I do say that, it's going to happen at some point. I don't even think he's on the field.
Well, no, I think he only plays special teams for New Orleans this year, and he puts the special in special teams.
Yeah, I think you miss him though. I think deep down you do miss him because when the secondary,
I missed 2019 Daniel Sorensen.
Okay,
because let's not forget that Chiefs don't win that playoff game against Houston without him.
Yeah.
Because he caused a fumble on the kick return, and then he stopped the fake punt on fourth down.
There you go. See, this might be a new thing. Is you might have to say something nice about Daniel Sorensen every episode.
Well, I don't have much more, but I guess I got a couple more. He's made some nice plays.
Hey, it's a new segment alert, so we're gonna save it. You're allowed you have to say one nice thing per episode. You already said that. You can't get them all out at once. We're gonna keep this going as long as we can.
Well, and like I said, I got a couple more.
Okay.
I can think of a few off the top of my head, so we'll be able to roll for I don't know another however many episodes. But let's roll. Let's ride with it. Chiefs Kingdom. Let's ride.
Chiefs Kingdom. Let's ride. Okay. And as you can see, Grant's such a big Dan Sorensen fan. That's his new Twitter name is Dan Sorensen's #1 fan.
Well,
so
we're a big BYU stan account over here. Big Provo guy.
Yeah. Yep. You've probably never even been to Utah, have you?
Never been to Utah.
No? Okay. Ethan and I, we've been in the airport, and that's about it.
Yep. Definitely counts. We're there for more than 2 hours.
Yep. There it is.
I'm with you guys.
Yep.
So, get back on track here a little bit. College basketball is underway. We're going to give our early Final Four predictions later on in the show. The Astros are World Series champions, so, bang the trash can, baby, let's go! And then the chaos in college football is just starting. Clemson's dead. Alabama's dead. Tennessee they're not on life support yet. They might be in the ICU. We'll see what happens, see how it plays out. Brian Ferentz was kidnapped. We'll get into that later. And the Gophers might have a new quarterback under center, which I guess let's just start the show there, Ethan. Gophers 20, Huskers 13. The game, they were down 10-0 at halftime, and then they subbed out Tanner Morgan and brought in Athlon Callie.
Ethan Kalligmanis.
Okay.
Well, exceedingly Greek.
He is Greek. He is the Greek freak.
For sure.
But actually, he's the Greek rifle is what we call him.
The Greek rifle, okay.
Yes. So you'll hear that often. I'm still not 100% sold. They're actually going to sit Tanner. Supposedly he had an upper body injury is what they said. If he's healthy, I don't see Fleck moving off him. Just because that's who Fleck is. But I don't know. At the same time, I don't know how you can.
Now,
after what you just saw.
Here's my question. Are they using this upper body injury as a cover-up? So it looks good in terms of the PR. So we're not benching him, but he's just not healthy enough to play. You know what I'm saying?
Because he took a big hit right at the end of half, but he got up fine. So and then they said that he practiced today, supposedly. But then again, Fleck's never going to say if a guy practices or not. So how much BS he's saying, I don't know. But I was happy they won. He's the only reason they did. Ethan is really. Defense played well, I guess, but he's the only one that got anything going whatsoever on the offensive end in the second half.
Yeah, well, they put up 20 unanswered, and then Fleck made just quite the possibly questionable decision, which we were texting back and forth during that, where it felt like he decided to punt it away so he would have an excuse to go back to Tanner, because everybody watching the game can see there's just a little more pep in the step when Callie McManus was in the game. Just games seemed to flow better, and it showed on the scoreboard because they put up 20 unanswered and they won the game.
I was so torn on it. Like, one, I wanted them to go for it. I wanted to go for the throw, be aggressive, but that's like the opposite of Fleck when you really think about it. But I also understand punting it because their offense didn't even have a first down. They didn't have like 20 total yards in the third quarter and hadn't been past midfield since I want to say the second quarter, since their second drive. So it's like their defense was like ridiculously good. They're down to their third string quarterback. So like I get punting it, but at the same time, I want to see that aggression that like he's never really shown.
Well, it's also a Minnesota team, so it's just a cursed state. So there's also that where, and if they go for it, they don't get it. Nebraska goes and scores, goes to overtime. Who knows what happens? You know, it's, you as a coach, you're putting it's basically almost a no-win situation.
Pretty much.
But
I'm just glad they won.
They got a win. They're still alive after an Illinois loss. We'll see what happens with the rest of the West.
And Nebraska still eats corn the long way.
Yep.
Yes, they do.
Exactly. And we'll go down to their neighbors to the south. Iowa 24, Purdue 3. I think they might be listening to the Three Guys Talking Ball podcast because they actually were doing a lot of what we said. There was some motion. There was a little bit more window dressing. And that begs the question. Grant, where are you hiding Brian Ferentz?
Actually, he's in my closet in my room. And I called plays Saturday from my house. I pulled a Jerry Kill.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I coached the game from my house with that, actually. And hey, a 2-game winning streak is a 2-game winning streak. So we'll give Brian a bowl of water and a sandwich at least once a day to keep him somewhat nourished. But that's all he's getting. That's all he's getting.
It's to the goes back to the old saying: "Be humble, eat crumbs." That's what you're doing. You got to eat the crumbs before you get the porterhouse, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we're rolling before we're crawling. We're not crawling before we're walking. With this Iowa team, we're like infants. We're rolling before we start to crawl.
Yes. Well, and like we talked about too, is Aiden O'Connell was going to give the ball to the other team. He likes to give the ball to the other team, and he did.
And he did twice.
Iowa capitalized off it. Charlie Jones still had a big game, but Iowa got the last laugh.
Well, and it's what you mentioned that, Charlie, he had a big game, but it was one of those where he didn't have the Charlie Jones impact that he had in every other game he's played this year. It felt like empty stats. And then also, that's on Purdue, where they had one guy. They fed Charlie Jones, the ball all game, and no one else could do anything. Nobody else could get anything going. And I think it hurt him at the end of the day. But another thing we're not talking about is, over these last 2 weeks, it looks like this Iowa offensive line is starting to get some cohesion as a group. And, when you're able to run the ball 2 weeks in a row and you're able to set up your play action game and get Petrus moving, move the pocket and bring those linebackers in, it sets, good things up for your offense. And then Laporta had a good day and Luke Lachey as those tight ends got going. So these last 2 weeks, Iowa was able to run the offense they want to run, and good things have happened. You put up 33 and 24 points in back-to-back weeks. That's very Iowa-like. They're never going to put up 50 like Ohio State. But, commanding 24-3 win. You also get 3 sacks, 2 interceptions. I'm happy with it. Let's roll.
Yeah, well, and we'll preview their game upcoming week in a little bit here. But you have to feel if Iowa puts up 24 points on this next Saturday, you got to like those chances. If they get 3 touchdowns, that's a recipe to beat Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because to your point, Dylan, if they get up 24, is Wisconsin in this offense putting up 25 points against the Hawkeyes? No, because Jonathan Taylor's not there.
And Graham Mertz also likes to give.
Graham Mertz is also there. If this was 2017 to 2019 Wisconsin, I'd say 24 might not be enough against this Hawks defense. But Like you said, this isn't the same Wisconsin team. In Iowa, they got a little momentum going. Like we said, I'm not gonna, stand up in my chair and say they're gonna win the last 3 games and they're gonna go back to Indy. We're not saying that, but they got a little confidence going where they can mess around. And once you got your confidence back, who knows what'll happen. So it's, it'll make especially this game Saturday, a lot more fun to watch where you're kind of excited for it because you feel like you have a chance they can win the game.
For sure. And like I said, we'll preview that a little bit later on. Did you guys get to watch the Tennessee Georgia game at all?
I did not. I just saw it was pretty much an ass whooping by Georgia.
Pretty much, yeah.
I witnessed the best team in college football on Saturday, and that was the University of Georgia.
That the speed that Georgia defense has sideline to sideline, those linebackers, the way their lateral quicknesses, with the angles that it looked like Tennessee would have, and then they didn't because Georgia just filled it so quick. It was I haven't watched Georgia extensively for most of the year. That was like the first time watching them. And that was the biggest thing that popped out to me was just how good they were covering sideline to sideline. And basically, Tennessee's run game was non-existent. Stetson Bennett, if they were, I was looking at his stats today. He's throwing for 2,600 yards. He's got more passing yards than C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young do.
Well, no one's talking about how good Stetson has been this year and how good this Georgia offense has been. I mean, he's playing at a Heisman caliber level. And then, Dylan, to your point, this Georgia defense, they had 10 sacks coming into this game on Saturday on the year. They had 6 Saturday itself. It's almost like when they've had to turn it on this year against Oregon and Tennessee, they look like an NFL defense, and they just look so much better than everyone else. Like it's almost like they're 3 tiers ahead of everyone else. And they're that good and they're that fast.
Yeah, that like mid-season hangover that you see a lot of teams get with after winning a national title, that's gone. They've taken their ibuprofen, they've had their liquid IV, their coffee, their third nap of the day. That hangover is gone, and they are looking poised to repeat again.
Well, I think they woke up and they realized the real football starts in November. When you're playing Kent State at home in September, then you go on the road to a bad Missouri team. They think they can just wake up and beat those guys by 20. And then also, they had a chip on their shoulder. They're the defending national champions. They're undefeated, and they're not number 1 in the country. They got this team who hasn't beaten them since 2016 coming in flying high. They were pissed off a little bit, and they had a message to send. And Kirby Smart said it on College Game Day. When you're facing Tennessee, your people in the secondary are going to be 1-on-1, and they need to make plays. And that Georgia secondary was all over the place too. I mean, Kaylee Ringo was playing with his hair on fire, and those safeties didn't get confused by all the games that Tennessee played, and they shut them down. It kind of looked like they were preparing for this game almost all year. Like that's almost how good their defensive game plan was.
Yeah, and they'll be number 1 on 2 by the time this episode drops, but because that comes out, we're recording this Monday, so when it comes out tomorrow, I would expect Georgia to be number 1. And then, did you guys get to watch the LSU Alabama game?
I watched maybe 2 possessions. That's about it.
Okay.
Saturday was not a lot of football, actually.
Huh. Well, I will say this: as incredible that game was, it just didn't have that juice that little extra juice that game has when it's on CBS. Herbie and Fowler are tremendous. I'm actually reading Herbie's book right now, but it just felt like it was missing that Alabama LSU night game. That's just a game that belongs on CBS. But it was an incredible game. LSU scores in overtime, goes for 2. Brian Kelly just shows off his big old balls, his big old Cajun balls that he has. And now I think he's a little more open to he's got a little bit more of a southern accent because LSU is family.
who would have thought in January after that fake Louisiana accent that his team would be 7-2 and now in the driver's seat to win the SEC West? Not me. I mean, you're right, Dylan. Brian Kelly, he's a giant prick. He's an asshole, and I feel like he's all about himself. But that man can coach football. And that was a special coaching job he did on Saturday, because Alabama went down the field in that first drive. And it looks like, they're going to score. It's going to be 7-rip. This game's going to be, 31-14, Alabama blowout. They get that turnover, and then those Tigers, they just believed. They believed, and a lot of freshmen made some big plays for them.
Jaden Daniels.
And Jaden Daniels, I mean, who saw this a month ago? I mean, Jaden Daniels, he looked lost, playing quarterback for LSU. Now he's getting confident. This coaching staff knows what he does well, what he doesn't do well, and Brian trusted him at the biggest moment in the game. I mean, how many coaches go for 2 at home? If that game's being played in Tuscaloosa, I understand that. But when you're at home and then you have an opportunity to play the second overtime in front of your students, and that student section caused, 3 false starts on Saturday night? 95% of America would have just kicked the one and said, let's live for another day. But, Brian had the right play call. Him and his offensive staff, they knew Alabama wasn't expecting them to give it to the 6'5" true freshman tight end. Who would be?
Dad is a Hall of Famer.
Dad's a Hall of Famer.
Makes us feel old because the dad is Jason Taylor, the DN for the Dolphins, and then his uncle is Zach Thomas, too.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not athletic of a family.
Yeah, they're okay.
Bunch of peasants.
Only went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School. I mean, what is that? The B squad in Florida?
Pretty much. It's not IMG. They were up 96 at half.
They weren't up 96 rep at halftime.
It's Canada.
Like I said, peasants.
and we can't say either. Bryce Young is a dude, and the only reason Alabama is in any of those games, just the plays that guy makes, where LSU had him dead to rights like 3 or 4 times, and he sneaks out and makes a play, and just the level of calmness that guy has, where he just doesn't get rattled. He's just so in control at all times. Mm-hmm. And if he isn't the number 1 pick, there's whoever the GM should be fired on the spot.
Oh, he's going to look good next year in a Houston Texans uniform. But that's for sure. And then hell, there's a chance they could get Will Anderson because they have someone else's first round. They have Cleveland's first round pick too.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. The SEC, could have 2, could have 3, could have maybe just 1. We'll see what happens. We'll go back to the Big Ten. Michigan 52, Rutgers 17, which was a sluggish first half. First time Michigan was down at the half all year, and then a strong third quarter by the Wolverines. Back-to-back interceptions. One was a pick 6, both by Michael Barrett. Forced 3 turnovers in the second half, and Michigan coasted after that. Like we said in the preview for this game, try to keep Blake Corum in the garage if you will, and it felt like it was. He still had 20 carries, but it looked like they put more of an emphasis on having Donovan Edwards as the feature back. He had 14 carries. I think he had I know he had a really nice receiving touchdown. And just another day at the office for Michigan. It was one of those weird night games at Rutgers. The crowd looked packed. I think I saw it was like 97% full. And Rutgers threw everything they had at Michigan in the first half, and it worked. Michigan gave up a blocked punt, which is just a lack of practice because Michigan hasn't had to punt. They had 4 punts in the whole month of October. So you can just chalk that up as to a lack of practice on that one. And the one downfall is I would like to see McCarthy hit a deep ball. There were a couple that he was close on. There was one that he threw on the money, probably just a little bit too much juice behind it. with Andrew to Andrew Anthony that if he should have caught, it was right in his hands, but it bounced out. But and the other story is they had 7 red zone trips, 6 touchdowns, and the 5 trips that the first team offense made to the red zone, they got touchdowns out of it. So we saw a little bit more creativity. The first 2 were not. It was we're just going to run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle. And to Rutgers' credit, and in Greg Schiano fashion, that is a very tough-nosed team where they're going to punch back. And to their credit, they did. Michigan was able to get in, but overall, I'm not going to complain about a 52-17 road win.
Well,
if you complain about that, you need to reconsider a lot of things.
You know, that's the thing though too, is it's like we, as us being NDSU fans, where there's a lot of times where, well, he goes back to that South Dakota game where NDSU was behind in that first half, where they came out a little bit sluggish, and then they shut the defense shuts USD out and wins by 3 possessions. It's just one of those things where you're dealing with college kids who you never know what's going to happen. They're in a range of emotions, and at the end of the day, it was just some good adjustments by the coaching staff, and just guys realizing like we're not playing up to the Michigan standard. Things got to change, and it did, and it showed where they came out. They got a stop right out of halftime, and then they went down, scored, turnover, and after that, the game was over.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Dylan, kind of like what we talked about last week. You want to start scoring in the red zone before you play Ohio State, so that way you have some plays and concepts down, and that way you have your groove. You're not trying to find groove when you're playing Ohio State. And just like what you said, look what Michigan's offense did: 7 possessions, 6 touchdowns. Now they can go back, and they can, in their meetings this week when they're going over their red zone tape, they can say, "Hey, we like this, we like this." And then when they play Ohio State, if Jim Knowles gives them a look that maybe they've seen before from Schiano, they're like, "Hey, we're going to circle back to this." So, it was a blowout, it was a win, but it's nice because this coaching staff can still take stuff from this game and use as the year goes forward. So they did exactly what we said they needed to do, and you have to be happy with that, because still undefeated, no blemishes on the record here, and I think for the most part they were pretty healthy, right? No major injuries, nothing like that.
No, well, and they were, that was another thing too, which I didn't bring up. They were down 4 starters that didn't even make the trip, so probably that was could attribute to the slower start maybe, but they got to figure it out, and then we'll like we talked about a little bit here, the NDSU, they took care of Western Illinois 56-17. That game was over within the first 5 minutes of the game. Bison got off to a fast start. It was a 3-and-out. First play by the Bison was a 47-yard Kobe Johnson touchdown run. Next possession on defense, Western Illinois goes for it. NDSU stops them. Zach Mathis might be having a future on the D line because he was the one that made the tackle. And then a couple of plays later, another touchdown run by, I think this one was Tamarick Williams, go up 14-0. It was 5 minutes into the game. Game was over. It was a very ugly, windy, cold day in Macomb, and similar to what it was with Indiana State, where it was a bring your own energy type of game. And unlike Indiana State, when they played Indiana State, NDSU did bring their own energy, and it showed. They jumped on them early. They put them away. NDSU only had to throw the ball 5 times for a total of 27 yards. And this team looks like they are peaking. They are on the upward trajectory, and right like where we are used to seeing these Bison teams in November, and they're starting to get a little bit healthier too, because Cole Wisniewski played a little bit more. He was up to about 38 snaps from playing, like, I think he only played 12 the week before against Illinois State. And Dom Izzo noticed it on the and he's mentioned it on his in the Bison postgame show, that their All-American DN to D tackle Eli Mostert was out of a walking boot. So that is something to keep an eye on. We'll see. It seems like he might be closer to playing than we thought. It sounded like when he first got injured that it was going to be he might be back for Frisco, but if he's out of a walking boot now, it sounds like he's gearing up for a playoff run.
Well, yeah, and that's all you can ask for, especially, hopefully you get that other first round bye so you don't have to play the Thanksgiving weekend. And then position yourself in for what, 3 playoff home games, or at least 2?
Probably
before a
2
trip
for
to
sure. Well, and
Frisco?
yeah, probably 2 for sure. They might have to go on the road for the semis, but not sure who they're going to be playing because South Dakota State won again on a game-winning field goal against UNI, but it sounds like I think Sacramento State might actually jump them and be the 1 seed because they are undefeated and have an FBS win, which the committee seems to value. And South Dakota State, they lost to Iowa, and
who did Sacramento State beat?
Colorado State.
What do you think is more impressive, beating them or losing closely to Iowa?
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with you, but I'm just going by what the committee.
The history
is.
No, 100%.
Yes. Do I think South Dakota State is a better team than Sacramento State? Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah,
but
just going off recent history.
Yeah, recent history, and just they'll still say, "Oh well, South Dakota State should have won. They would have been the 1 seed." But
yeah,
right,
yeah, and Sacramento State doesn't have that blemish on their record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they sit back and say, "Hey, we played 11 games. We won 11 games."
Yeah,
it's not our fault. Your offense decided to score 3 points against Iowa. Too bad.
So, yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be we'll preview the NDSU Southern Illinois a little bit later on, and go down to the NFL. And we had a purple rain in Washington D.C. this weekend, as the Vikings have won 6 in a row. They are now 7-1 on the year, and it's just been a common theme, and I think it's just been the motto for this Vikings team is they found a way. It was not pretty, it was ugly, and I think Washington is a lot better than what their record is, and I think with the news of Dan Snyder possibly putting the team up, or I think I say possibly, but it sounds like a 90% chance that he's going to be putting the team up for sale, that this is there was a little more juice and a little more excitement and energy around FedEx Field on Sunday and Paul Allen talked about it on his radio show today, that Washington is a football town and they love their Commanders football team, Redskins, whatever you want to call them. We'll call them Redskins here because they're
the
Redskins. We're used to.
Redskins forever.
Redskins forever. Hail. Nah, I can't say that. Never mind. No.
Hail to the Redskins. I'll say it.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
And that is a football town. And Paul, and like I said, that there was a little bit more juice. I think the team fed off that, and they made it interesting. But in the end, the Vikings again, they just found a way. And Ethan, where are the chains at?
I did not wear them tonight, but Kirk probably still has them on in his house.
Ooh.
I hope Kirk has them on still. He looked great.
Honestly, how happy did he look? That was so cool to see.
Since when did Kirk have a freaking 6-pack? Like, the dude is yoked, actually.
Dude's an NFL player.
Yeah.
This shouldn't
I don't think there's
us.
a lot of quarterbacks, like white quarterbacks, that look like him in the NFL. Physically.
No, that's fair.
No.
Like, I was impressed.
And also he's got what, 2 kids? 2
or 3.
2 or 3. So it's he wears the dad,
Cooper and one more.
He wears the dad outfit each week. And you'd think, oh, he's got a little dad bod going there. He's a white quarterback from Michigan. He's not a specimen by any means, but the dude looked good.
He did. I was pretty impressed.
My favorite meme from the weekend was Kirk Cousins went to "She'll be home by 10." She calls me daddy too.
That's pretty good.
It's fantastic.
That's damn good.
This team they just like find a way. They just seem so much more excited to be playing football this year compared to previous years. I saw a video of a speech after a Zimmer win where it was like very, very just business like, and then you watch the post game speech yesterday where there was excitement. They were giving out game balls. There was cheering. You even got Ziggy Wolf in the locker room dancing.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's been a culture change. I think the players have bought in. I think it's letting Kirk be a little bit more of himself, where it felt like with Zimmer he was more so walking on eggshells. And it's reflected. It reflects in the record that the culture that KOC has put in. Congratulations to him, by the way. Just had a kid.
Super Bowl, baby.
Fourth kid.
Super Bowl, baby.
Literally, he did tell the team that.
Hey, he had a hell of a couple weeks in February. He won the Super Bowl as coordinator for the Rams. First-time head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. There's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah. Oh, Super Bowl. Oh, I got you now. I got it.
Yeah, there we go.
I had to think about that for a little bit. I was like, wait, are you saying he's going to the Super Bowl or?
No, it happened.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
He literally told the team, "You guys do the math on that one." Like in their first meeting. Like.
Yeah. Well, who? Michigan's tight end Eric All. He had his son was first born. His first son was born August 27th. So you guys can do the math on that.
And it's like he beat up Ohio State and then went home and beat up something else that night.
Nice.
But back to the Vikings game. What are your guys' thoughts? Yes.
Even though they didn't look the best, I thought that was their best game, if that makes sense. Kirk made so many throws under pressure that were just absolutely ridiculous throws. Like that deep ball to Jefferson down the left sideline was just absolutely stupid with Jonathan Allen breathing down his neck. There were so many like that. So many the 50-50 balls that he's actually throwing this year. Like last year, he never would have even attempted half of those. Or this year, it's like literally he's doing it all the time now. Like Jefferson, how many 50-50 balls he probably should have caught? I mean, the two in the end zone probably should have been caught. One of them might have been PI. I know a lot of people are saying PI at the end of the first half. I don't think it was. That was just good coverage by saying juice. But Kirk's given his guys chances, which you can't really say he's done the last couple of years.
Well, and I think that goes to Dylan's point. New regime, new culture. Kirk's feeling good about himself. He's going to be a little more aggressive because he's probably got a head coach and an offensive staff who are telling him to take his shots. They're like, hey, Kirk, we got a pretty darn good defense over on this side. We feel you can be aggressive and try to take those deep shots. And if you throw an interception, that's just like a long punt. You know, we'll get the ball again. And then guess what? Just keep attacking, and good things will happen.
Yeah.
And again, we said this before, but last year's Vikings team would have found a way to lose this game.
They'd be 1-7.
They'd be what exactly? They'd be all these one possession games. They'd be 1-7.
Yeah,
you know,
like actually,
last year we're always talking. Oh, what could happen if the Vikings would finish out these games and they'd be 15-2? Well, I'm not saying they're going to be 15-2 this year, but they're finishing out these games, and you know they got a pretty damn good lead in the division. They might mess around and win 12, 13 games.
Well, that and on the defensive side, their pass rush has improved every week. Where it seems like Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter are just living in the backfield all the time. Because I don't know how many more times they sacked Heineke yesterday, but it felt like it was a good amount. And their situational pass rushing is impressive too, because it seems like anytime it is a third down or a crucial spot in the game, they find ways to get pressure on the quarterback and either get a sack or throw it away or make him throw the ball earlier than he wants, and it doesn't go where the quarterback wants it to go.
Like, I don't know what the difference between a hurry and a pressure is, like statistically speaking, but I want to say Zadarius is first, tied for first in pressures, Daniil's 12th, and then Daniil's third in hurries. So like that's just constant, like from those two, like especially Zadarius, he's been an absolute menace.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also, guys, how big was the addition of T.J. Hawkinson this week? First game, 9 catches, 70 yards. How many big third down catches?
On 9 targets.
On 9 targets.
Game.
This guy have. They said third down. Washington's like, no, we're gonna double team you, or we're gonna play this cover 2 shell, and you're not gonna beat us. Well, Hawkinson's just gonna come slide in, get 9 catches for 70 yards, and you need a catch on third down. He's gonna get it for you. And it was cool after the game on the radio. He's interviewing Ben Lieber, and they said, TJ, how do you feel? And he goes, I'm not going to lie. I haven't won many road games in my career. And this one feels pretty good. And then he's only going to get better each week. And now people are like, well, we can't let Jet beat us. KJ Osborne's a monster on third down. You're going to have one of the best tight ends in the NFL, who's only 25, on your roster terrorizing these defenses. I mean, when was the last time in Kirk's career he had a legit tight end who he could go to and he felt comfortable with? I mean, this could be just another weapon for this offense to really take off in these coming weeks when he gets more comfortable, with the system, and KOC can see what he does well. And then also, not to mention what he's going to do in the run game as a blocker. If get Dalvin going and then Madison, this offense could be unstoppable.
Well, I feel like this is the first time they've been able to consistently get passes over the middle. I feel like everything for the first part of the year has been outside the numbers, where now they have Hawkinson that just literally all he did was roam the middle and they had no answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I looked up. I have the answer between the difference between a hurry and a pressure. So hurries are when times the QB were hurried, which is defined as a situation when the QB is forced to throw the ball earlier than intended or is chased around / out of the pocket as the result of defensive pressure. And then pressures are hurries plus knockdowns plus sack plays. And note that sack plays in this instant include both sacks and assists.
Oh, there we go.
So there we go. That's our answer.
Yep, that I found that on, where did I find this at? Pro Football Reference.
Hey, and this is just me, guys, but that's my something new I learned today. So today was a good day.
Yeah.
Fun fact Monday on it. They're fun fact Thursday on a Monday.
No, fun fact Friday on a Monday.
It's Monday.
But people are hearing it on a Thursday.
Yeah, we're hearing it.
Well, it's a fun fact, folks.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun fact.
Yeah.
And is that all you guys got for the Vikings Commandos?
Yeah, Packers suck. That's my other option on
Yes. Let's just get that out of the way. The Packers are dead. They are dead. Dead. And I'm gonna just fight I am totally setting myself up because that's who the Cowboys play, and I'm just gonna come back and bite me in the ass. But
well, here the real question is this: is Green Bay gonna have any healthy players on Sunday?
No, Rashawn Gary's done for the year.
I mean, Gary's done. Dobbs is gonna be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk.
Probably
we'll
a month.
We'll preview it later because it's just the writing is all on the wall that the Cowboys are just going to absolutely shit the bed. Okay, so we're going to move over to a team that actually played this week.
History does repeat itself.
Yeah. I'm going to mute.
He's not going to catch it.
He's not even playing.
He's not going to catch it. Yes.
So he's not going to catch it, even though he caught it the first time. The Chiefs beat the Titans, and actually the Chiefs and the refs beat the Titans. And
the Chiefs beat the Titans.
And it was actually reported that Andy Reid brought the refs into the locker room after the game to give them game balls because apparently the NFL just said we need the Chiefs to win. So, we're going to change the rules that throwing hands at a guy's face and knocking him off is actually going to be defensive pass interference now. So that make sure the Chiefs win and I have to miserably be put into cornrows, which is this is just a really bad couple of segments for me.
So two things on that. One, it was defensive holding, not defensive pass interference that the referee called. Stupid. If you say it, get it right.
You said you're a high school coach. You don't even know what the fucking call is.
There were a lot of plays.
And 2, Dylan, what did the ref call? What can I say? Like MJ said, what did the ref call?
Well,
Hey, what did he
yeah. When they have to change the rules to make sure the Chiefs.
It's just like when he didn't catch it. What did the ref call? He said he didn't catch it because he didn't.
Well, actually, the ref said he caught it, and the review people said he did.
Yeah, he said he didn't. Yeah, so they were right. Yeah.
But the Chiefs 2017, I think this is more of a incredible job that Mike Vrabel did because Malik Willis is not ready to be playing and should. There's a reason he is the backup. And the fact that it was like 91 plays to 48 and the Titans led for the majority of the game. We need to stop doubting Mike Vrabel because I think I had the Titans not making the playoffs and not winning the division. Had the Colts winning it, which Grant, you and I both did, so we're both idiots.
Oh yeah, we're fools.
And it goes back to the culture that he's built in Tennessee because when you look at this Tennessee team, they are all reflections of him as a player. Like they are tough. They are going to do whatever it takes to help the team win. And they're just going to punch you in the mouth and keep punching you until you cry for mercy.
Well, and let's also not forget this, guys. Yes, Malik Willis played and he was awful. And the Titans' only offense was Derrick Henry. But this is 2 years in a row. This Titans defense has put the Chiefs in a phone booth and they've bullied them. I really wish I could see the coaches' film, the All-22 on what the Titans secondary was doing. Because for about 70% of the night last night, when you're watching these replays, they were just blanketing these Chiefs receivers. So props to the Tennessee defensive coaching staff for putting together a game plan. Again, without a bunch of starters on defense, because like you said, this team is a reflection of their head coach. Well, they're tough, gritty, and physical. And it shows because they had a lot of hurt bodies out there, guys. And then, this Tennessee pass rush, they didn't back down like they didn't last season. And they kind of got the Chiefs out of their own game. The Chiefs were more interested in John and talking with the Titans last night than they were trying to run and execute their offense. And it showed. But for the Chiefs' sake, what I've been saying all year, they're just a resilient team. They don't quit. They don't give up. And they're just a reflection of their head coach. They're going to keep grinding. And they're going to win games. And then also last night was a over my dead body game from Patrick Mahomes. He wasn't going to stop. He was getting frustrated all night, but he just found a way. He found a way. And as soon as Tennessee didn't rush with integrity and he had an opportunity to use his legs, he took advantage of it and helped propel the Chiefs to a victory on that, 3rd and 20. And you let him run for a first down. That's you can't have that in this league,
especially against the Chiefs. Well, and it goes to show just the because Collinsworth, I think this would have been the Chiefs' first drive of the game where they had a holding call, and Collinsworth tied. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I almost would decline this because I don't want to give them 2 extra plays because they're still dangerous enough to where with 2 plays they could still get it, but they held them to a field goal. But even on that 3rd down, they got it down to the 4, which it's just how dangerous this team is. The guy they just traded for, Kadarius Toney, he was a big part of the game plan. He was really good on 1st and 2nd down. And then
he first play, first catch of the night.
Yep. And Baltimore just scored. Kenyon Drake with the run, but I think, and you talked about it earlier with the Titans secondary. I think the biggest key is the Titans didn't have to blitz at all to where they were getting pressure with 4 guys, and they were just dropping everybody else back into coverage. But I think in the end, their pass rush just got worn down because when you throw the ball 68 times like the Chiefs did, you get tired, your mind starts to shut down, you get a little bit sloppy with your technique, and that's where they would give up contain. Mahomes would run around, and make some guys miss, and well, that's why he's the leading candidate for MVP of the league right now.
And then also an adjustment the Chiefs they finally made for their rush defense in the second half. They took Derek Nottie out from the one technique, and they put in Kalen Saunders, big number 99, and he was clogging up that middle all night. And then in overtime, he had that big sack on second down, and he tackled Henry for only a gain of 1.5 on first down. So the Chiefs made an adjustment. They said, "Hey, Tennessee, they're doing what they want to do. They're being physical. They're running Derek down our throats. We're going to make an adjustment," because Nottie's been bad for 2.5 years with that. And I was always wondering why they didn't put Saunders in and give this guy a chance out of Western Illinois. And they finally did, and good things happened. And you know what? That young man probably played himself in a starting role, this upcoming Sunday against Jacksonville. So, good for Spags and his defensive staff to make an adjustment and say, hey, if we don't do this, Tennessee's going to beat us with 8 passing attempts in this game, and that's just not acceptable. And it worked out.
Respectfully, I hope they don't start him next week because Travis Etienne needs to have a big game.
Why would that be, Ethan? Is he like
it's a big week,
guy?
I'm about to be 6-3 in fantasy if I win next week, so it's a big game.
Dude, Etienne could go for 120 and 2 tutties, and I'll be upset. But you know what? As long as the Chiefs get the dub, let's roll.
Exactly. So quit being selfish. We all can win here.
Well, I'll be selfish. I'll be selfish and root for you, Ethan. You root for me. I root for you. You root for me. Is that fair?
Totally fair.
I'm on board. Etienne.
I'm not rooting for the Cowboys though, or the Packers. I hope if there's ever going to be a nuke, I hope Putin does it in that stadium Sunday.
Because
last
time I checked, Green Bay is high on his list of cities he wants to attack. So watch out.
Yeah.
All right. Any other games you guys want to discuss in the NFL?
How about how bad the Rams and Bucks are? I mean,
that was awful.
Neither team just doesn't want to block for their quarterback at all.
They're just terrible.
Well, they don't want to and or can't.
Yes.
They're not good.
Is Jensen going to be back this year? Because I've seen reports that he's done for the year, and I've also seen that there's a chance he's coming back. Because if he's able to come back, I think that would. And I think the other part too is the Bucks are getting bailed out by how awful the rest of their division is.
Yeah, for how good
that
East is, that division's like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going to have someone in the NFC East having to go to Tampa or Atlanta for a road playoff game, and they're going to have 4 more wins than the team who's hosting this game.
Just a joke.
Yeah. But the other part is too, though, is
ass, and they're damn near in the lead for the division.
It's Tom Brady, and you can't count the guy out. So would it be that surprising if they limp into the playoffs and then find themselves in the NFC Championship game?
Normally, Dylan, I would say no. I'm not surprised, but I've watched this Tampa Bay team this year, and they're just not good. And this isn't like
that last drive changed something this year. I don't know. They seem fired up after it. Obviously, they just won, but I mean, I doubt it.
No, dude. Ethan, we were talking on the phone during that last drive, and I watched again, and it's just the Rams literally gave them everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they gave them literally.
They gave them everything, and because Dylan, this isn't like your normal Patriots or Bucks team where you're like, they could put something together, and
this team is almost a lot like that 2019 Patriots team.
Yeah, exactly. They feel off, and there's just no way they can compete with these best teams in the NFC.
The only way I think they do is if we see vast improvement on the offensive line, but at this point in the season, you basically are what you are in the trenches, and they're not good. And, maybe if Ryan Jensen does come back, maybe we'll see some improvement. But even still, that's going to take some time to gel because they still have new guys because Kappa's in Cincinnati too, and between Smith and Wirfs, both have been hurt throughout the year, so they've struggled. And it's one of those things that you just have to bring up because it's Tom Brady.
But then also, they're dropping passes left and right.
Yes,
they had 6 drops yesterday. Six drops. That's unacceptable. I mean, that's high school level. I mean, and there's some young receivers that they let go because this is Tom's team and we got to do what he wants. So let's bring in old washed up veterans. But Justin Watson, who's playing for Kansas City this year, he's got 2 big touchdowns. And he's had some big games. And then Tyler Johnson, I bet you they wish they could have those 2 young receivers now. But
Where's TJ at?
Tyler Johnson's back on their practice squad, actually.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's back with the Bucks now?
Yeah, he's back on the practice squad.
Okay, well, so then again, they were listening to us, Ethan, and they
Yeah,
realized
they never should have stopped. Let's be real.
Yeah.
No. Well, between this, Iowa's offense, we make people smarter, which is crazy because most people who know us would not consider us very smart.
Or not the sharpest knife, not the sharpest knives in the drawer.
Exactly. We're not going to disagree when you call us dumb because
we're not the dullest either, though. So there's a good mix.
It's just kind of those classic guys from the Midwest. We're not great, but we're not bad. We're just kind of there.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're just kind of taking up space, but it is what it is.
Yes. So, all right, we got our NFL talk out of the way for week.
Sure.
Week 9. Week 8. Week 9.
Yeah, week 9.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, boys, the Astros, as I had said in the earlier, they are World Series champions. Mattress Mac has $75 million. And Justin Verlander, a hot wife, cute kid, 2 World Series rings. Dusty Baker, a baseball lifer, finally got his first World Series trophy, so congrats to him. But I think this is a very cautionary tale for teams that rely exclusively on the home run ball. That is not a way to win in October, and the Phillies learned that the hard way.
You talked about Verlander, but he also has never won a game in the World Series. I don't think still.
No, he did. He won game 4 or game 5, whatever he started.
Well, that was his first win in the World Series.
Yeah.
And he still was.
Yeah, I thought this was his first World Series title because I didn't think he was on that 17 team.
No, he was. He was traded mid-year.
Oh, well, never mind.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, got his first World Series win.
No, if Bryce Harper was better, they would have won.
This is true. It was if Bryce Harper played the way Kyle Schwarber did, would have it would have been it might be a different story, but he didn't. And I will say this about Bryce Harper, he does have a badass walk-up song. If you guys can hear it in the when he's coming up the bat, it gets the crowd into it. They're clapping along. It's a catchy tune. I was a fan of it.
It is Gio Urshela's Christian rock one.
That one always hits you right in the field.
God, it just really gets going.
It gets you going. It gets you excited to be at the baseball game.
I get pumped to go to church on Sunday because of that song.
Sometimes you sit back and you're like, I shouldn't be here. I should be in Mass right now. But guess what? I'm here. I paid for my ticket. Let's watch some baseball.
We're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so Dusty Baker got his first win, and do you know who was there was quite the connection between him and World Series MVP Jeremy Pena with the first game he managed in the big leagues. Jeremy Pena's dad was playing for the Cardinals.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was. He was coaching for Dusty was coaching for the Giants. First team he faced was the Cardinals, and the leadoff hitter for the Cardinals was Geronimo Pena, the father of Jeremy Pena.
Small world.
Yeah.
The more you know. That's another fun fact. Fun fact Friday on a Thursday, but recorded on a Monday.
Yep.
Wow, that was a mouthful. I got it out.
I'm impressed you got that out.
I actually am too, because normally I have a problem enunciating.
I'm usually not impressed with
what
you say, but that was good.
That was
good.
It's a word. It is a word salad.
Yeah.
But also, this World Series, guys, I'm feeling pretty cocky because I said Astros in six. And hey, Dusty got his first World Series. So, Grant's feeling pretty cocky right there for his prediction he made at the beginning of the series. Picking the Astros. That's real original.
Good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think I said Astros in 5. And then Ethan, you had Phillies in 7, right?
I had Astros in 7.
Oh, you had Astros. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was close. You're the one that looks like an idiot.
How do I look like an idiot?
I don't know.
Well, because you didn't give the Phillies enough credit. Well, that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's baseball. Hopefully the Twins can do something in free agency. I saw Correa opted out. They finally said goodbye to Miguel Sano.
Thank God.
Jake Cave gone too as of October 11th. I didn't even see that till today. What a glorious day.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then they picked up Sonny Gray's option.
Yeah, that was expected.
So
they with Correa that was expected. So they're gonna try and re-sign him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But like we said, college basketball is opening night tonight. The Bison, last I looked, were down by 8 to number 10 ranked Arkansas. We won't do a whole lot. Maybe at some point, maybe once football's over, we'll get somebody on, talk some college hoops with us. But since in honor of college basketball starting, we're each going to give out our final 4 picks that probably we will go 0 for 4 on. But hey, you know what? We're idiots. We embrace it, and we're going to roll with it.
Hey, and just like the Green Bay Packers, this will age like sour milk.
Yes. So, Ethan, outside of Wisconsin, who are your other 3 teams in the Final Four?
I've only picked them once to make the Final Four, and they did it. So if I do it again, I'll be pissed because then they'll obviously make it. But I did Creighton. I went with the famous Omaha town.
Okay. I knew you were going to
pretty good.
I had a hunch on that one too. Yep.
Yeah, Creighton's fantastic this year. They're dangerous.
Big Doug
on top of that,
oh nice.
I went with UNC. I feel like that's an easy pick. They're gonna be absolutely fucking loaded. Like, I mean, stupid loaded. They're gonna make everyone look like idiots for the ACC. My third one, they are like actually. My third one is this is my surprise. This is my surprise right here. TCU.
I had a hunch
Jamie
that's who you
Dixon's
were
gonna get it done.
Dude, I was talking to Alec last week, and he was telling me he said watch out for TCU also.
They're gonna be freaking good, man. They return a lot. They were solid last year. But my fourth team, and honestly, the team that I picked to win it, Houston.
Okay.
You know what? When you texted us today that said you were feeling confident about your national championship pick, I was like, this motherfucker is rolling with the Houston Cougars.
Oh,
he's
dude,
a big Calvin Sampson guy.
They get Sasser back, who missed 26 games. They get Mark back that missed 32. They're their 2 leading scorers that they were completely missing for 3/4 of the year last year. Plus, they get a 5-star and Shed, the guy that led him in the tournaments, back. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
They're going to be freaking stupid good.
But no, so to piggyback off of what Ethan said, my first Final Four team, guess where I'm going with? I'm going with the Houston Cougars also.
What a smart man.
Yeah, just because, like Ethan said, they bring back so much talent, and they always seem to get shafted in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. I think this is the year they finally, in the COVID year.
Well, they went to the Final Four in 2021.
Yeah. They did, yeah, but or was it 2020? Was it the COVID year and they got destroyed?
2021, then Elite 8 last year.
Yeah, you're right.
Or this year, technically.
Yeah, you're right. But then, this year I think they get back and they actually get the credit they deserve because there'll be fans there and it'll actually mean something.
True.
So like I said, the first team, the Houston Cougars, and then I'm gonna go to the Great Northwest and say Gonzaga. I like the Zags because also, guys, in their non-conference this year, they're actually playing real opponents. They're playing Baylor. They're playing Texas. They're playing Alabama.
They played them last year. They played Duke. They played Baylor last year.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to learn from their mistakes that they made last March. And, I think Mark Few is going to get his team back to the Final Four. They're not going to win it. I think they're going to get there. So I'll roll with the Zags, and then also I'm gonna go with the team NDSU's playing, Arkansas.
Ooh, ballsy.
Um,
Tons
you
of
know,
talent though.
a lot of talent. They get to the Elite Eight last year. I think Musselman's going to build off that. He's got a good culture where they play defense and they get rebounds, and they're going to take that next step to get to the Final Four. So I'll go Arkansas there, and then again, like Ethan said, surprise, surprise, North Carolina.
That backcourt is filthy.
It's just filthy. I mean, they have the closest thing to professional roster we have in college basketball, and they bring back everyone who beat Baylor, who beat UCLA, and who beat Duke in the tournament. I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but they could be fired up like that 2017 team when they lost the year before the title, where they might just mess around and win this whole thing. So yeah, I'm gonna end it and say Carolina.
Going back to your Arkansas pick, I was watching them tonight. I have no idea who number 2 is for them, but he's like some 6'10" athletic freak that plays like a point guard, and it was kind of terrifying to watch.
And it's crazy, but doesn't Musselman have the number 3 recruiting class in America last year? And
they might have had the top. They had 3 5 stars or some shit. It was it was top 3.
Yeah.
That,
It was
they
just
got
stupid.
they got 3 of the top 10 guys from the transfer portal too, didn't they?
Yeah,
Or
they
something
just
like
freaking
that?
loaded them up.
Because they got a
they're
Rhode
loaded.
Island transfer, and they got couple other ones too.
They
but
still have O'Banner from Oral Roberts 2 years ago.
he because he was at Texas Tech, wasn't he?
I thought he transferred to Arkansas this year, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a different transfer.
Maybe he did. Well, it's hard to say because with the COVID year, the exemption, it is possible.
I just saw on the TV NDSU's only down 11 with 8 minutes left. So I mean, they got him right where they want him.
Yeah, I sounds like because they played Crookston in their exhibition, and it sounds like from what Kolpak was saying, it looked like a completely different roster offense from what they've ran the previous years. They've kind of taken the reins off and let them play a little bit more freer and a little more go. He referenced Paul Westhead as which mostly, if you guys know, the was that fast break kind of he was an assistant for the Showtime Lakers, and then took over as head coach when the original coach had a bike accident 11 games in, and he took over and was kind of was an assistant, and then took it to the next level for the Showtime Lakers. Won that first championship with Magic Johnson as a rookie.
Yep, don't remember that. Did not know that.
Yep.
Did not know that either.
That's on the HBO. If you guys watch the HBO show Winning Time, you'll learn about it, and it's which is based off the book, the Showtime by Jeff Pearlman, which is a fantastic book as well, which discusses most of it as well. So, I've gotten two free book recommendations.
All right. Well, who's your 3 teams besides Michigan?
Well, I do have Michigan in.
Shocking.
Oh, surprise.
Yep.
Where are your Mason Blue glasses, bud? Come on, let's take them off.
Yeah. Well,
Jairus Reed is not that good.
Fan is short for fanatic, so you know what? I'm gonna rock with the Maize and Blue.
You know what? I'm gonna take out Minnesota Gophers or win the whole damn thing. Ben
Shut
Johnson
up.
for president. He's gonna be the governor.
Yeah, we're gonna write Ben Johnson in tomorrow.
So
Perfect.
Yes. Oh well, Ethan, like you said, I have Michigan, and then similar to Grant, I also have Arkansas in.
Oh, they're so
in the
screwed
Final
in the
Four.
face.
You guys are fucked.
And
They're so screwed.
well, early predictions. Yeah, I've already accepted my fate. At least I'm not an idiot and been sipping the Gonzaga hype train like somebody here.
Hey, they've done better than Michigan.
Maybe.
Hey, they have a Final Four. What have you gotten? The Sweet 16?
They've played 2 national championships.
One doesn't count.
Which one?
Oh wait, no, Louisville's championship doesn't count, but
Yes,
we all know Peyton. We all know that was a foul on Peyton Siva.
100%. It's not even close.
We know that was a foul.
That you mean that wasn't a foul on?
No,
Trevor?
what did that call? He called the foul.
Yeah,
He called it. He called it.
Yeah, He had a bad day. Sometimes
You
people
are
make
just
mistakes.
so upset with officials right now.
Oh, I'm not. That was like 10 years ago.
And here we are talking about.
Yeah, see, it's so
I
upset
didn't
me.
bring it up though. You guys brought it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We just gave our opinions.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. And like
It's true.
Grant, I also have Arkansas in the Final Four. I think the must bus makes it to where is the Final Four this year even?
It's in Houston. That's
Is
It's
it?
in
right.
Houston.
It's in Houston.
Oh.
The Cougars have a home game.
Ooh.
Oh yes.
But Dylan, back to your point. Sometimes babies don't have assholes, so that's a false statement.
Well,
Oh
I'm
my
not
God,
gonna
what's
talk
going
about
on?
why the well actually
move on.
guy is really at it today. And my last team rounding out the final four, or no, I guess I still got two more teams to go, is the Baylor Bears. I like Scott Drew to get back there.
They only won by like 80 tonight.
Yeah, they only won by 80. Strictly why I picked them. I saw they won by 80, so you know what I said? They're making it to Houston.
That's a good choice.
I like
And
that.
then rounding out the final four, this is a unanimous between us three is Carolina, the favorite. And if the final four is in Houston, they go back to the scene of the crime from 2016 where they lost on a buzzer beater to Villanova. So my final four: UNC, Michigan, Arkansas, Baylor.
I said you guys did like whiteboard marker and I did Sharpie.
Yeah,
Well, Sharpie,
too
yeah,
early to
because
tell. March the NCAA tournament, that's so much based on matchups.
It's just dumb luck.
It
well, and
really
then also,
is.
come March, I'll realize that I no longer trust Tennessee basketball and I don't trust Gonzaga basketball, so I will not have Gonzaga in the Final Four.
Nothing makes you feel stupider than filling out a bracket and 3 days later you look like a fuck.
And
You just let them fire and walk away.
the guys like us who follow college basketball throughout the year and feel like we're the smartest people in the room, and then there's this random chick that basically picks it on the cuteness of mascots, wins your bracket pool.
It's the whole thing.
Yep.
It's awful. It's one of the most humbling experiences out there.
My number one rule: never trust Georgetown.
Never trust Georgetown. Never trust Gonzaga.
Or
never
Tennessee.
Trust Tennessee. Never trust
Or Duke
Iowa.
past the second round.
Or Iowa in the first round.
Yeah.
Well, they have white guards. What do you expect?
Oh, it's awful. We're so bad.
They have guards named Connor McCaffrey and Jordan Bohannon. What do you think is going to happen?
Bohannon's still there?
No. But
I was going to say.
Can you say two as unathletic white guys as you can get?
Well, it is Iowa, so yes.
Yeah, that's true.
If LeVar Ball said that, Ethan, we'd be on national news, but you're not LeVar Ball.
I'm not important, so it's fine.
Exactly.
So we'll move back to football, and this is quite the trifecta. All three of our teams play at 1:30 this weekend.
What a weird time.
Well, 1:30 Mountain, 2:30 Central.
Oh, that's still a weird time.
No, it's not. That's always when the afternoon games start. Is 2:30 Central, 1:30 Mountain.
Oh, 2:30 Central. Sorry, I was like thinking we were like behind you for a second. Sorry.
No. The daylight savings is messing with me too. It's okay. I was talking to my buddy about this weekend. Is they should move that. They should do the clock thing on a Monday because I can sleep all day Sunday. I can't sleep all day Monday because I have to work. Give me an extra hour on Monday where I'm gonna need it. I don't need an extra hour on a Sunday. But give me that Monday. I will be the sharpest tool in the shed.
I'm not sharp. Picky. An extra hour of sleep is an extra hour of sleep.
I'm with Ethan. Anytime I can get an extra hour of sleep, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. Let's go attack the.
Let's get to work.
So I guess we could just start with. You guys have a preference who we start with talking?
Let's get Michigan over with.
All right.
Let's get Michigan over with. Yeah, they played Nebraska. They don't matter.
Dead. It's done. It's over. It's fine.
1:30 ABC. Casey Thompson. That is he's questionable. He's got a nerve injury in his throwing arm. He didn't play last week against the Gophers. Michigan's a 29-point favorite. Nebraska's defense ranks last in total defense in the Big Ten. Comes down to play Michigan football for 60 minutes. The game's going to be over. I would like, if there's anything that I want to see out of this game, is I want to see J.J. McCarthy hit somebody deep for like a 50, 60-yard house call. And just get out of there healthy and just keep moving up. And, this is football, it is a climb. And if you guys have ever seen the movie Everest, you'll learn that if somebody if you die climbing Everest, you're not getting your body is staying there forever.
I actually just watched a documentary on Everest the other night. It's pretty messed up.
In football, it is a climb. You're just trying to get to that next base camp. And Michigan, they're getting closer to the summit, and they're building up towards it. And they're at the point where they are crossing dead bodies, and they've got a chance to end Nebraska's season and leave that dead body on Everest and just be looking at them if they go take care of business, because Nebraska loses this one, they're not making a bowl again. So just show up, 60 minutes of Michigan football. You're going to be just fine.
Well, yeah, Michigan shouldn't have a problem having 500 yards of offense in this game. I mean, if Georgia Southern can show up to Lincoln on a Saturday in September and put up 550 yards of offense, there's no reason this Michigan offense can't do the same. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they have 250 yards on the ground. Dylan, this should look a lot like that 2018 game, just a Wally mopping.
Yep, exactly.
In the words of Dan Gable, go up, dominate, go home, and get ready for Illinois and Ohio State to end your regular season. But you're right. The big thing, come out of this game healthy.
Yep.
Because it really shouldn't be close.
This is another game where you could probably keep Corum in the garage, try to keep him at about that 20 carries, get CJ Stokes some more touches, Donovan Edwards some more touches, and then that way he's a little bit fresher for these next two games. So we'll go over to, what? It's a rivalry game, so we'll go Iowa-Wisconsin next. And Wisconsin travels to Kinnick, and Wisconsin is actually a 1.5-point favorite. What's a 130 Mountain on FS1. And let's see here. This is going to come down to quarterback play, I feel like. Whichever quarterback plays better is going to win this game. And if Petrus can keep building on what he's done the last 2 weeks, I like Iowa's chances.
Yeah. I'm with you, Dylan. I mean, which quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes? Which quarterback only has one turnover, not two? And which quarterback can complete? If one quarterback can complete 60% of his passes, I think that team's going to win. That might be the number I have right there. Which quarterback can get over 59.5% completion percentage and win the game? Because if with these two offenses, with how kind of stagnant they are, if you can complete 6 out of 10 passes, that means you're getting some passes on third down. You're setting your offenses up for third and short, and then you can establish that running game and keep the defense unbalanced and not knowing what's going to come next. You have a great shot at winning this game. And then, also last year I said with turnovers when Iowa and Wisconsin played, Iowa had 3 turnovers inside their own 20-yard line, which led to, I think Wisconsin winning the game 28-9. And if Iowa doesn't have 3 turnovers inside their 20, who knows what happens? So you just got to keep doing what you've done these last 2 weeks, establish yourself at the line of scrimmage, and let your defense go out there and make plays. Set Wisconsin up for those, in passing situations. And Graham Mertz will throw it to the Iowa secondary a couple of times. And then you capitalize off that, and good things will come.
Yeah, I just think Iowa's defense is going to shut Mertz down. He's just terrible. Illinois held them to 2 rushing yards. Like, and Iowa's defense is better than Illinois. I just don't think Wisconsin's offense has near enough firepower. I'm not saying Iowa's offense is good by any means, but Wisconsin's defense is average.
Yeah, this isn't the old Wisconsin defenses you're
No.
used to.
No.
Not even close.
No, and well, if Iowa wins this, they're going bowling, which we did not think was going to happen a few weeks ago. So we'll go to
a couple weeks ago we were looking for that 4th win.
Yeah, well, I mean, you just have to keep Ryan Ferentz in your closet there, and just keep feeding him crumbs. If you call a good game, you guys. I like your guys' chances because and then you get to go send them back to that deserted cheese wasteland where everybody works at a local creamery and they're not that special. So Iowa, Wisconsin, 1:30 FS1. So
the people of Wisconsin smell horrible too because they actually use sticks of butter as deodorant.
Ew.
And then they bathe in Velveeta. They're just nasty, gross.
Where'd you get that one from?
I've said that for years because I have yet to meet one actually nice person from Wisconsin. They're all kind of ugly and just dopey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair.
Fair enough. All right. And then we'll go over to Minnesota Northwestern, the Big Ten Network game at 1:30. Minnesota's a 17.5-point favorite. And Minnesota is looking to keep Northwestern winless in the United States this year. So, Ethan, who's going to be starting at quarterback for the Gophers?
I'm not going to act like I know. I hope it's Ethan. I think he is a much better option. But either way, you're just going to get a lot of Mo on Saturday. High of 27, possible snow. If they throw 15 times, I will be shocked. But
I bet you it'll be 10.
Yeah, especially you should be able to run all over Northwestern. So hopefully it shouldn't matter. But yeah, it's going to be very, very, very cold and just going to be a Big Ten November game, like the definition of it.
Mm-hmm. And that game is at Huntington Bank Stadium.
He got it right for once.
Yeah. Wow, look at you. You're growing and learning.
Something like that. That's the goal. And go down to the FCS where NDSU plays Southern Illinois, the Salukis. That game's at 12 p.m. on WDAY and ESPN Plus, 12 Mountain that is. SIU they're playing for a playoff spot right now. If they lose this game, it's going to be very tough for them to get into the playoffs. It's not completely dead, but it will be very tough for them to get in. They've very up and down year. They started 0-2, losing to Incarnate Word and Southeast Missouri. And then they beat Northwestern. And they've finally kind of righted the ship for a while. I think they lost to South Dakota State. They're coming off a bye, so they've had an extra week to prepare. It's a little bit of a strength on strength because Southern Illinois, they ranked 9th in rushing defense this year. So Bison are going to face a tough test there. Probably after the last 2 weeks where Lipke's only had, I think, like a total of like 6 carries. I think they're going to be taking the reins off him. And then Southern Illinois, they also have 2 really good receivers. So I think it's going to be important they can get pressure on the quarterback, make him uncomfortable, force him into some untimely throws, and be a good test for this NDSU secondary that's been pretty solid all year and probably their most consistent unit on the defensive side of the ball. And this is somewhat of a must-win game for NDSU because if they lose this one, they will probably be playing on Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh yeah.
Who does SDSU weekend?
What's that?
Who does SDSU have this weekend?
They go to Illinois State. They go to Normal.
Okay.
So it could be a tough. That's another Illinois State's looking to try to get in too because if they win, that's a good resume booster. But I don't see South Dakota State losing that one.
No.
But yeah, Dylan, your point. NDSU, they get in November, get rolling, keep that running game going, get the pass rush going like a classic NDSU defense has, and good things will happen. And they know how hard it is to win a title. And if it's even harder to win a title if you got to play 4 straight weekends, Thanksgiving through the end of the first semester. So hopefully they come out focused, with their hair on fire, a sense of urgency, knowing that, hey, we're going to end, SIU season, and let's keep this thing rolling for us. And like we said, get this by, play this week, play next week, be able to put your feet up, and then go for the home stretch.
Yep.
Down to there.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. Could also be a possible bring your own energy type of game. They're going to Carbondale, which it seems like that's a stadium that has a lot of buzz early in the year, and then as the weather gets colder, fans kind of start to lose interest where it's not as full of a stadium. But we'll see. It shouldn't matter if they got to play like they did last week, and who knows if the weather's crappy like it is. NDSU is not going to care if they only have to throw the ball 5 times. If they got through a game throwing the ball no times, they would be perfectly fine with it because strength of their team is running the ball and just pounding teams into the next continent. So just play their game and just like I said with Michigan, they're ascending and going towards the summit. Leave SIU on the side of the mountain. And let's go to, you guys got any other college games you want to talk about?
Nah.
No, I don't even know what's going on. TCU,
I mean,
Texas.
I was going to say that's the one game I'm intrigued about because, Texas could maybe put a damper on TCU's playoff implications if they were to win this. And then also, if Texas wins this could be a rematch in Dallas for the Big 12 title game. Because right now it kind of looks like Kansas State, Texas, Baylor, they're all fighting to play TCU again. In Texas, they still got to play TCU and they still got to play Baylor. So kind of a make or break game for Sark and the Horns, this Saturday.
Oh, and hey, I'm pretty sure the Bison covered though. So Bison lost to Arkansas 76-58. I think the spread was like 21.5. So
good
teams
team.
win, great teams cover. So we got that going. And let's segue up to the NFL, where Vikings play the Bills. Bills are 6.5-point favorite up in Buffalo, which that would have been a fun game to go to, I think. Going up to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And that is we're gonna find out more about this Vikings team. And this is Josh Allen. Sounds like he's got some issues with his elbow.
UCL.
So, yeah, with UCL. So it might be a Vikings.
When you hear that,
it might be this could be a Bills, somewhat of a Bills revenge game because it could be a Keenum Diggs and Diggs for the Bills.
Keenum Diggs revenge game.
Yeah.
You have to think.
And then I also heard Mike Zimmer might be coming up from Jackson State to help coach if that is the case.
Depending on how this news comes out with Allen's elbow tomorrow, you have to think that line could take a pretty big swing.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think Josh Allen's worth at least 7 points.
Yeah.
Or at least 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming off a game where they lost and they did not play well either.
No.
So they're going to be coming out firing.
Yeah, and possible nerve damage I saw in there. That's interesting.
His arm was tingly.
I'm going to say that's not good.
No, it's usually not.
I think it sounds like it's like the same injury Casey Thompson has at Nebraska.
So he almost loses feeling in his hand or something for a week.
Yeah, it's like a nerve injury in his elbow on his throwing arm.
Then they said it's his UCL, and that's like the Tommy John ligament.
Yeah,
that's a big thing.
And then for someone to throw with as much torque and power as Allen does, I don't want to look into it because you don't wish injury on anyone, but that's scary.
Yeah, that's a big question going into tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that is, it's I'm excited. I think the Vikings. Well, and we have a Cook brothers matchup as well.
Yeah. Vikings need to run the ball.
Yeah, they
That's
have
like
to
the
go.
biggest thing.
Yeah.
Be effective. I think you could even. We talked about T.J. Hawkinson having 9 catches, 70 yards. I think you're going to need another performance out of him because that Buffalo secondary.
Well, I don't think Poyer is going to be playing again.
So
he hurt that elbow again.
Him and Hyde are out. Is Tre'Davious White? He hasn't played yet, has he?
I don't think so.
Oh, so you got Elam on Jefferson, and then their other rookie, and then also, guys, let's not forget it's a Leslie Frazier revenge game.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Rusu, their DN, their rookie DN, he's out for a couple weeks too, ankle injury. Like they're falling like flies.
They're dropping like flies there in Western New York.
Well, and also this is a bit of a revenge game for the Vikings because the last time they played in Buffalo, they gave up a 4th and 20, which made it on Paul Allen's 12 days of Christmas that year. That 4th and 20 in Buffalo. Damn it.
That's right. Yeah, this is an interesting game because if the Vikings can run the ball and slow down that Bills pass rush, that's your recipe for beating this team.
You have to run the ball. They suck at it.
Yeah, and the Bills can't run the ball, and they have a hard time stopping the run.
Yeah.
But, also to Dylan, to your point, over these years, Travis Kelce has had some really big games against the Bills. And this might be what Hawkinson needs to do for the Vikings to have a chance again in this game. Because you can guarantee Sean McDermott's going to sleep in that office all week, and he's going to say, how is 18 not going to beat us? So it's up to Osborne, Thielen, and I think Hawkinson. But again, with all these injuries Buffalo might have, who knows? They might not be able to stop anybody just because they don't have the horses.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Cook needs to be an option out of the backfield as well, catching the ball out of the backfield as well.
Yeah. God, that's tough to do against those linebackers, though. Milano and Edmonds are so. I mean, Milano was all over the field this year against the Chiefs. But Dalvin is better than Hilaire and Pacheco, so maybe he can do it.
Yeah, well, we'll move over to a team that the Bills beat a couple of weeks ago. Chiefs play the Jaguars in Arrowhead. 9.5-point favorites. The Chiefs are. That's at 11 a.m. Mountain on CBS. So I don't know. You guys going to be doing a dual TV thing going on there, or how do you guys plan on watching, or just?
I work, so I'll watch Vikings on my phone.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't even know because I think Fox has the doubleheader this week, so
they do.
If they have regional coverage, I don't know if they're going to have the Chiefs on up here. There's just going to be some slappy game because in week 3 when they had this, when the Chiefs lost to the Colts, that wasn't even on up here. So I guess we'll wait and see which game they even have, because the Vikings will be on Fox, and I don't know what CBS is going to put on yet.
CBS, well, maybe maybe a Broncos Titans is an option. And other than that, I don't really foresee.
Unless
they do like Browns Dolphins on CBS instead, but they usually in over here in anyways.
You'll get Denver.
Do the Chiefs,
but
I might get Denver to.
But this could be the classic game where maybe in Minnesota here, since the Vikings are playing against the Bills, they don't even have a game on at noon on CBS.
They might not.
They've done that before, Dylan, where it's just straight up. Just there's only one game on.
Yeah, well, and looking at it though, because the CBS game is Colts Raiders, so so I think they'll have it'll be the two games on at 11, and then the Fox game at 2:25, which I guess that's a pretty good segue there we just did there. All right,
but I will say this:
we're getting better.
You got to turn Trevor Lawrence over twice. Don't even give them a shot. If he turns the ball over twice, they should win this game by 10 points. Because when he doesn't turn it over and ETN gets rolling, that's when this Jaguars team can get a little scary. And, you give a team a chance and you let them hang around, bad things will happen.
Which we might add, we are all rooting for ETN to have a big day.
Yeah.
We're all friends and we support
players.
each other.
I want
Exactly.
ETN to go for 120 and 2 tutties. Lawrence has
203 tutties. Come on, let's be nice.
Okay, that's fair. 203 tutties, but Lawrence also has 2 turnovers, and the Chiefs still get a win.
I like
There you
that.
go.
I can get them.
So, back to the we had a good segue, then we didn't because we forgot we actually had to talk about the Chiefs-Jags game. But we're back to the 225 game of the week, Cowboys-Packers. Cowboys coming off a bye week, so having an extra week to prepare. Cowboys need to keep the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, LaFleur, that entire shithole of a state dead. Keep them dead. Don't even let them think that they have a sense of life. You know, I don't condone, beating a dead horse or kicking somebody while they're down. But you can do that to the Packers because Aaron Rodgers has tortured the Cowboys over the years. And you know what? Micah Parsons, 3 to 4 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence, 2. 2 Trayvon Diggs picks. Dak Prescott, 400 yards. Zeke and Pollard both for 200 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 2 touchdowns. Gallup, 2 touchdowns. And then, you know what? Noah Brown works hard. You know what? He can get a touchdown too. So
we're going full IMG Academy here.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel a lot of pent up
and you know what? Mike McCarthy returns back to Green Bay, and he gets a happy homecoming.
Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of built up hatred towards Green Bay. It's like they've torched you twice in the playoffs, and you still can't get that.
Yes, they have.
Is there any truth to that?
That's 1,000% true, which is similar to when on Pardon My Take, when Big Cat, Aaron Rodgers asked Big Cat if it makes him feel bad that Big Cat's greatest success is when the Packers lose in the playoffs, and it has nothing to do with the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And similar, my response is similar to what Big Cat is no, because very realistic about the Cowboys is, not a great franchise as of late. They do a lot of stupid things because Jerry's mostly about himself. And you know what? I look forward to every year in the playoffs when the Packers blow a game and lose, because then you get to see everybody melt down. You get to go and hear how awful Rodgers is, how awful the GM is, how they need an owner, how you have to tear down Lambeau and build a dome because that way they don't have to deal with the cold. So, you know what? And the spin zone is that's kind of my Super Bowl, and I've won a lot of Super Bowls, more than Aaron Rodgers has.
I mean, I'm all for it. The pettiness, the built-up aggression, the really middle school rivalry type thing. I'm all here for it. So I support you 100%, Dylan. I'm with Ethan. Let's go IMG Academy. 96 rip at halftime. And, the people of Wisconsin might burn that stadium down.
If they get past the 30, Dylan, you have to shave your head.
No. No.
Then how's he going to get his cornrows?
Oh, true. We got to paint him on his head.
Ooh, even better.
Well, so my mom found out about this cornrows thing, and she told me that she would, which I'm surprised she hasn't already, but she said that if I got cornrows, she would disown me. So
she won't. She loves you.
That's what I said. Which I hope it doesn't happen, that I have to get cornrows. But it was the Chiefs are playing way too well. They've got too many things on their side. They have the refs on the payroll, and they're gonna find a way to win and make this torture on me.
Now I have a question for you. What would be worse? Getting the cornrows because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, or having to listen to the Eagles fans say "Fly, Eagles, fly" because they won the Super Bowl?
You know what? I almost think still getting cornrows, because since I was like 6 years old, people have been telling me I could get my hair like that, or I need to grow an afro and all this shit. And it's like, no, there are way too many people that would get too much satisfaction out of me walking around with cornrows in, and I would hate myself for it because I just don't want to give that many people that much satisfaction. The Eagles thing is whatever, because at the end of the day, they're still a second-rate franchise that only took them 9,000 years to win 2 Super Bowls. Congratulations.
You haven't even seen the Cowboys win one.
Yeah, but
Not true. Not true.
Stop
I
it.
was 1 year
Stop.
old. I was 1 year old.
Hey,
Hell
stop.
off.
So,
Stop
same
it.
thing. It still counts. I was
When-
still alive. I was
when
there.
when you shit
I
your
was
pants,
alive.
that doesn't
They won a
count.
Super Bowl, huh?
You couldn't use the toilet. That doesn't count.
You couldn't
What are you
even say
talking about?
Dallas.
I
Yes,
don't know that.
you could barely say dad, I bet.
You
Let
couldn't,
alone
even
Dallas.
use silverware.
They still won when I was alive.
Are you watching the History Channel?
Yes, because
When
that's
you
all I
turn
have.
your-
Okay.
Do you watch? Is it just the '97 Michigan season, and then 95 Dallas? Do you watch anything from this century?
Well, recently, yes, because I also have been able to add the 2021 Michigan Ohio State game and the 2021 Big Ten championship game.
Holy shit! One out of the past 14 years.
That's pretty wild.
Yep. And
And
let's see what else. What else
so
do I have? Oh,
it still took-
the run
still-
that Orlando went on in 2009 when they made it to the NBA Finals.
So 13 years ago.
Yeah, So you know what? Yeah, they're you guys are probably just lucky that that I choose shitty teams to cheer for, because I would be completely insufferable and I probably wouldn't have friends if my teams were actually good. So you guys
I'm
are
glad
lucky.
at that, because I wouldn't talk to you if you were like a Golden State fan or like a Patriots fan from years past. I couldn't talk to you.
Well, I mean, Tom, I'm about as big of a Tom Brady fan as you'll
Yeah,
get.
but you're not sucking down chowder left and right and starting bar fights in the middle of the afternoon. You're not a Bostonian.
Yeah, well, no, it's not chowder, it's chowder.
Chowder. But
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying. You would, like you said, would be so insufferable. I couldn't talk to you.
Yeah, well, and it's also a good thing too that these are your words, they're not mine, that I am the humblest guy you know. So, that's another reason though, because I was raised to be humble and kind, and
Oh,
that's
stop.
how I live my life.
Stop it,
And-
Tim. Stop it.
And yes, I've well accepted the fact that my teams suck, and I'm okay with it because you know what? It keeps me humble.
How can you say you grew up kind if your mom wants to disown you if you get cornrows?
Yeah, what the hell's going on here?
Well, that was part of a bet, and if
That's still not
I'm a
being
man of
kind, though.
integrity, so I have to honor bets. And she's a female. She's over dramatic, so she's not gonna disown me.
I didn't
She
say
might just she'll just say she'll give me the I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed in you.
No, she'll slap you in the face and I'll support it.
No, she wouldn't do that to me.
Domestic violence, baby. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
take the
roll.
belt off.
Boy, that would be something. Her just taking me over her knee and giving me the belt for, why are you getting cornrows?
You've been a bad
You
boy.
idiot.
Jolene all of a sudden became a get off my lawn mom. But
Yeah.
get the cornrows out of your hair.
She'd shave your head while you're sleeping, and I would support it.
I would too. I 1,000% would, because I would rather be bald than have cornrows.
Only if you polish it every day.
No, I only
Yeah,
have to have it in. The bet was
you
I
got-
only have to have it in for a week. So
Oh, come on. You need it nice and shiny so people can look at you as a mirror.
Yeah, if you shave your head,
No.
then you got to put the lotion up top and shave it every single day and look nice and shiny.
Yeah.
no. So
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Floor buffer.
We've got a long way to go before any of that happens. So we'll kick it over to Grant for Curveball of the Week.
All right, boys. So as you know, my buddy Connor, he just moved down to the Dallas area because he is now officially starting as a FBI agent for the Department of Justice in this country. So congratulations, Connor.
Yes. Well, and that brings up a good point because this episode drops on the 10th. So Friday is Veterans Day. So we want to wish all of the people who have served and currently serving a happy Veterans Day and thank them for their service and the sacrifice they gave to this country to help us live free in this great country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm just curious, with Connor starting his job down in the FBI, if you were to work for some department or agency in the Department of Justice or for the U.S. government, which agency or department would that be in? Do we want to be an FBI agent, CIA, DEA? I want to know, if you guys were to get into something like that, what department or agency would you want to choose to work for and why?
I'm doing Secret Service.
Okay. All right. Elaborate on that. Was quick.
Yeah, you're the top guy for the president. You get to hear some crazy shit in your conversations when you protect him at all times. You're basically like the biggest bodyguard in the world.
Well, yeah. I mean, you basically are, because I remember in high school history class, our teacher was telling a story about how like when JFK was president, how like he would be entertaining these ladies in the pool, and the Secret Service agent would be moving Jackie out of the way so she was not able to see what he was doing in there.
Yep. You're like the OG
God.
like best guy ever.
You see, and Ethan, I'm kind of on the same lines as you. Something this also would be frightening because you know all the secrets in the world, but being a CIA agent, being one of the smartest people out there, and then just knowing all the dirt that we have going on in this country and all the other dirt that goes on across the world, it'd be kind of cool, but frightening at the same time.
Honestly, almost a spy would be badass too until they figure it out and you're dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're a CIA agent, if you pissed the wrong person off, you're going to be dead too. I mean,
oh yeah.
Or well, like I said with JFK, they probably had a good thing going behind of why, probably something in the reason of why he was killed, something behind it for what he did with, or how he kind of destroyed the CIA of sorts. So I think that to be honest, I have no desire to work at all in any government position. Like, sure as hell don't want to be a politician.
Oh God, no.
No. Which I guess, yeah, we'd be telling people to go vote, but it's already past that. So I got are you guys voting tomorrow?
We are. I am.
After work.
Okay, yeah, I got mine.
Going bright and early at 7 a.m. Get that shit done.
There you go.
Smart.
I am I voted last week Thursday. Got that out of the way, done and out of the way. So got my ballot cast, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think maybe the CIA, FBI, that seems too much upfront action where you're dealing hand in fist with the criminals, where the CIA, you're a little bit more behind the scenes, and be interesting to hear all the shady shit that goes on within the government, because
and
there's
also
a lot.
Oh yeah, and as a kid, one of my favorite TV shows was Criminal Minds, and always kind of getting in the mind of a psychopath and serial killer was interesting because some people might think I'm a bit of a psychopath. That would be kind of cool and interesting until you see what kind of harm and damage these people could do, and knowing that you have to go to bed every single night knowing that, hey, this person mutilated 6 people, would be a bit frightening, but kind of cool at the same time, saying, hey, I put that guy in jail. So maybe just because since I asked the question, I'd probably almost say FBI, just because I kind of weirdly enough have, it's kind of fun and fascinating to learn about things like that.
Yeah. Well, and now that you say that, I heard just like now you just hear everything. So now it's like, oh, they're listening in on this conversation. There's going to be a CIA agent that's going to bust in and arrest me, and you guys will never see me again. So wow, and I voice cracked, and all sorts of flustered here. But we all got our answers in, right? Secret
Yes, sir.
Service, FBI, and that's not female body inspector, right? Or it's the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
No,
no,
that's not body inspector.
That is not female body inspector. That is the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Okay, well, I think that would be the FBI I would want to work for, but
there'd be a lot of guys out there who want to work for that FBI.
Exactly. So
this is not the other guy.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Who hates Iowa?
We hate Iowa. This was a good episode, boys. This was a good one. This might have been our best one in a while. So
I'm thinking so.
Good work. And thank you guys for listening. Go follow us on all of our social medias. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff. We'll have the short segments of the show posted on Friday for you guys. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you next week.